What? Okay, I'm reading a message from Shelby right now of how to turn off the stupid leaderboard. What? To disable the YouTube chat leaderboard, users need to access the settings within the YouTube app or on the website, then navigate it to live chat settings and toggle off. What? Go to U tab. All right, this is live. This is literally live, guys. This is so exciting. But I don't even know what this leaderboard is. Open the YouTube app and sign in. All right. Yeah. So the weird leaderboard, I guess, I just noticed it too, is in the chat. It's showing these weird crowns. What in the heck? Okay, wait. Open the YouTube app, sign in, go to the U tab, tap the settings icon, select live chat. Oh, okay, I see that. Yes. Ah, turn off leaderboard. Okay. Okay, maybe that, hopefully that work. I don't know if that'll update on, will that update live here? Let's see. Oh, I think it worked. Wow, the magic of the internet. Okay. That is the worst way to start off the chat. I was just like, what is going on? All these crowns? Shelby sending me a DM? All right, thank you, Shelby. Thank you, American Discord, for saving my channel from whatever evil YouTube is throwing at us inadvertently. But anyway, welcome, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Good to see you all. My name is Rocky Ballesteros. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my weekly show, My Wednesday Comics. Today is going to be a little different, as you might have noticed from the thumbnail, but I will talk about that in a second. I wasn't really hacked. Maybe my brain was hacked. But it has to do with hacking. And I kind of gave a little bit of a sneak peek in the last stream that I did on Monday when I did that unboxing. But yeah, we're going to be talking about a very different, unique comic book today. And it's kind of obliterated. Well, here's what I was thinking. I'm going to focus on this comic because there's a lot to kind of unpack, and I would love to have this discussion with you all. It's kind of one of those things that you need to discuss this with other people and kind of figure it out a little bit. It feels a little bit like a escape room code breaker kind of situation. So better to do that with other people than by yourselves. But if that kind of falls flat and everybody's like, this sucks, I do have comics that I can look at. There's some comics that I picked up, like weekly comics, and there's also some back issues that I picked up. So we could look at that too. So I do have a backup plan. But I did want to focus on one particular book today. It's called The Future Is asterisk, 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 6 asterisks. It's a new book that came out a couple weeks ago, maybe not a couple weeks, maybe more than a couple weeks ago. But I just discovered it a couple weeks ago, and I've been dying to talk about it with you all because it's something that, other than the regular comic talk, it's something really unique and worth discussing and see, what sticks. I read probably about half of this book this morning just to get my feet wet, and then I started diving down this deep rabbit hole, looking up YouTube videos, Chat GPT, all of the above. And then I was like, I really need to stream about this because this is weird. So anyway, that's what today is about. That's why I put hacked on the icon, on the thumbnail. But we'll get into that. And I want to make sure that I put this up here because I was called out last time by Mark's Music Obsession for not having that icon there. So we are shooting the fat right now. But how is everybody? How are you doing? Lindsay Rose was first in chat. Always great seeing you, Lindsay. Like I mentioned last stream, working on your sound effect. I have some things in the works now, but not totally done, but it will be coming soon. So stay tuned. But it's so great to see you jump in here first in chat and popping in with your greetings and asking how my cats are doing. They're doing much better. Thank you very much for asking. It seems like they're back to normal. They're begging lazy ways, but you don't realize until it's not normal, until they're not doing their normal stupid routines. You don't realize, I mean, you do realize when it's off how like stressful that can be for them and for you. So it's really great to have them back to their normal routines. And it definitely makes me less anxious that something's up because they're getting older. My cats are getting a little bit older. They're about 11, 12-year-old now. Both of them, they're brothers. And so, you know, they're getting up there in age, a little long in the tooth, a little slower in the trot as they walk around the house. So, you know, you just want to watch out for that stuff when things like that happen. But I think what happened was it was a bad batch of food is kind of how I deduced it. Because we did some blood tests, checked them out at the vet, and there wasn't any other kind of symptoms. So I think it was just a bad batch of food. So, yeah, thanks for asking. Mo Big's in the house. What's up, Mo Biggs?
Better known as Mo, Big wasn't always the confident voice we hear today.
Mo Big said, leave the leaderboard on. That gatekeeping has gone too far. Yeah, I don't even know what the purpose was for the leaderboard other than like to get people excited about, I don't know, being the first or second or third in chat. I'll have to look in that more, but I saw Shelby had put in a couple of, a little note in there about what was going on or why it's not good. I'm just thrown off of what's going on. Mo Big says, keep in mind Shelby celebrated my birthday by removing my wrench in his chat with no explanation. Shelby only wants you to turn off the leaderboard because I'm number one. Actually, Lindsay Rose was number one, so I think you were number two, Mo Biggs, but who knows? I obliterated it. The instructions worked from Shelby, so hopefully, everything is okay. I don't want to mess anymore with this channel. You know what happened? I was really nervous last stream. I told you guys all the stuff about the copyright issues and, YouTube like tagging my streams for copyright, and I'm having to go through this whole dispute thing with them. You know what happened? My last stream, the one that I told you I was worried about, is very hesitant to post the trailer, got tagged again. I quickly cleared it up. I knew what happened, but it was exactly what I was worried about. So any extra things, AI, leaderboard, whatever, I don't want to like incite problems here. So I'm going to keep that stuff off unless somebody else tells me otherwise. I didn't say hello. I mean, I did say hello. Thank you very much, Shelby, but I didn't give you this. I think I should stick with feeding the ducks. Unfortunately, I'm not on StreamYard, which that is a built-in sound effect, but I guess I could download it and put it in here. But feeding the ducks doesn't seem to have any problems with YouTube strikes or copyright strikes because nobody wants to claim that as their own piece of music. So maybe I should go to that because that's all that I hear on Shelby's channel, and he seems to be doing fine. Jeffrey Beats is in the house. What's up, Beats?
10% bogan, 50% bogan, 100% bogan.
Hopefully you have got a good balance of bogan to not bogan today. Are you headed to work, maybe wearing a fancy coat again? Yes, I got your DM. See, get Rocky yapping about it. Lindsay knows. How quickly, Lindsay Rose, you have gotten used to the yapping, the yapocalypse. Not that long of a story, Lindsay Rose. The average Rocky Yap session could cover War and Peace. It could. Ironically, I've never read War and Peace. So, maybe I should. Maybe I should try. Let's see. No. Is that after I turned it off? Is there something sus about it? I don't know. What was the benefit of turning it off? Here we go. Channels getting struck for imagery that AI finds problematic, even illustrations of guns. Keep that turned off. Because the leaderboard... Why? Is the leaderboard attract the AI? Is that what's going on? That's not cool. Huh. Maybe. I wouldn't put it past Shelby to do that. These are crowns, not guns. Exactly. Hacked. What's up, emo trash? What is going on? Please save us. Lindsay Rose says that seems norm and dumb at the same time, Shelby. I'll be here till my food cools enough to eat. All right. Several channels have been taken down for it. Blame YouTube. Wow. For guns now. Ugh. All right, that's not good. Now I gotta like be careful. Wait, that's not good because part of what I'm gonna be talking about. Oh, that's not good. All right, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? We're in a quandary. If you were in the room with Rocky, the wind of his yapping would cool your food. True. Now Shelby's crown says no. The ultimate hack. Shelby just hacked the chat. Normal YouTube being dumb. Thanks for explaining it, Shelby. All right, cool. Next level rigging. The regular. Yes, my cats. Absolutely. They're like whining. They're bugging me. It's really sweet though. You don't realize how much you miss it until you don't have it for a day. And then you're like, oh, I kind of miss it. So now I give them extra hugs and put up with a little bit more whining than normal. The numbers aren't based on who is first to comment. Really? Chat XP, from what I've come to understand, is who yaps the most and who's the... No, that's not true, is it? Is it really? I mean, when Lindsay came on, I did see the number one, maybe because she was the first one to put a comment. And that's considered the most talking in chat. That's weird. I got to look it up. Not that I have... Yeah, after this stream, I'm going to look it up and see what that's all about. But I don't want any more eyes on this channel from YouTube giving me a hard time. It's ever since we hit that monetization goal, it's gotten infinitely more difficult, which is not cool. John's here. What's up, John?
He goes, what's your name? He goes,
2 minutes out, catching up, no problem. No problem at all. Unless somebody tells me otherwise, hey, don't talk about me behind my back in front of my face. MMO is correct. You did forget to shoot I did. Yes, I did. There we go. Feeding the ducks. Wasn't MMO taking a 4th of July trip or something? He was, yes, with his sisters, I believe. So I don't know if he will show up because he's not in his normal place. But if he does show up, always appreciative. But yeah, I think he is traveling around. Probably hanging out. That's because the yapping is why I'm here. That's amazing, Lindsay Rose. Like, I would have never thought that would be... That deserves the leaderboard being turned on for you saying that. I wouldn't bet on people coming here for the yapping. I thought it was for the comics, but hey, I'll take it. 10% bogan today, low bogan levels. That's good. Lindsay Rose asking what is a bogan. I will let Jeffrey Beats describe that. It's a dare I say, not common, but like a Australian term of endearment. Maybe not endearment, but it's a phrase that's often used by my Australian friends here in YouTube. The info isn't originally from Shelby, but KSSS. Oh, okay. YouTube is terrible. They enjoy pushing people around too much without explanation. It is on a whim. They can change the rules. But, we kind of are playing by it. It's just like, Google or Apple or any of the tech companies. They kind of hook you in and then it just becomes incorporated into your lifestyle. and like you can't live without it. And then they change it, and then you're like, ugh, well, I guess I'm stuck. I can't. All right, I got to pay for the next version of the iPhone because I can't stay with my old one, and I don't want to switch to an Android phone because that's a totally different ecosystem. And then you're just stuck. I mean, although I do love the Apple ecosystem, but it's kind of like that. So I feel like YouTube, you spend all the time building up whatever it is, your channel, building up your audience, and then they can pull the rug out from you. So that's really frightening. All right, let's see. XP leaderboard is just silly nonsense. Yes, and I didn't see what you had mentioned last stream, John, about having the @ symbol. I haven't seen that yet. I did see it on somebody else's chat. I can't remember whose, but I haven't seen it on mine. So I don't even know if that's a setting that you turn on that I haven't switched on, that I need to switch on. I kind of don't want to see an @ symbol. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I haven't said much, but I've already overtaken Lindsay. Wait, there is a button here that says top fans. Yeah, and surprisingly, Shelby is #1. How did that happen? It was the ultimate con. That's amazing. All right, let's see. Rocky has amazing yaptitude. That's it. I do like comics. Nice. John says basically, Bogan is an Australian redneck. You could. I bet you could find a vid explaining it. Timmy Mello, how you doing, Timmy Mello?
And the Guardians are headed to October.
Totally different ecosystem that's better and more user friendly. The Apple ecosystem? That I will agree to that. I will give you that. Love the Apple ecosystem. Oh my goodness, Rocky is too far gone to be safe. John. I know you're not. You're anti-Apple. It's good, man. It's good. For people like me, we need it. I need all the like pretty icons and the like glossy see-through menus. What is it? They just announced at the last developers conference. I think it was like liquid glass or something, and a lot of people are poo-pooing about it. I don't know. I haven't tried it out. I haven't seen it pop up on my on the new iOS yet, or I haven't downloaded the. I don't even know if you can download the new iOS with it incorporated in it yet, but we'll see. Whatever. My boy's mom just got him a new iPhone. It literally even feels like glass. See? It's awesome. It's totally awesome. Rocky, you know better than to believe I was talking about the Apple ecosystem. Oh, darn. I'm just anti-overhyped tripe. Yes. Yes, I've heard. Yes, I know. And Adobe just sent. Did you get it? Emo Trash? Or I don't even know if you canceled your subscription. I just got an email from Adobe saying, well, we're going to give you guys more, and we're incorporating more into your Creative Suite subscription, which is super expensive already. Exorbitantly expensive. And I think they raised the price again. It's like getting crazy. I think it's almost like $800 a year for the subscription price. I think, if I read that correctly, which is nuts. And it just makes you think like, do I really need that whole ecosystem? Or do I need that whole app suite? I don't know. I only use maybe like 5 out of the like 20 programs they put in there. And they're definitely not worth $800 a year. They're going to charge more for less. That's right. That's how it goes. That is definitely how it goes. K-pop's here. Oh, K-pop. Adobe is annoying. They keep removing things and adding AI-only stuff. Yes. I actually have a friend who works at Adobe. He is a lawyer there. And yeah, their whole, how they handle AI, what they're dealing with, lawsuits and all this kind of stuff is like #1 on their docket of what they're trying to figure out as lawyers, which I can't even imagine. But yeah, I know they're trying to push that more and more. It's just kind of inevitable, really. But the reason I said, K-pop is I actually started watching that show I'd mentioned to you the other day, K-pop Demon Hunters. It's pretty cool. I only got maybe about, I want to say maybe a little more than a third through. But it's cool. It's got a cool look to it, cool style to it, and a interesting plot. I mean, if you like K-pop, which I mentioned I don't really, but I can totally see the appeal in it. And it's produced by Sony Animation Studios. So they are the ones that did Spider-Verse, all the Spider-Verse movies and stuff. So there's a lot of overlap with the creative teams that worked on there. So it's got a really kind of edgy look to it, kind of fun look to it. And I can imagine if you like K-pop, hence your name, it might appeal to you. So if you haven't watched it, check it out. Terms of service rarely ever get better when already bought. Yep. That again is part of the problem once you get hooked into these things. Like how many of us have gotten so used to the way the Adobe products work, how their menus look, how they communicate with each other. And then Adobe's like, all right, well, now you can't buy the software separately. You got to buy it as a package, and we're going to charge you as a subscription service. And then we all were kind of trapped into it. Granted, some people left and tried other apps, and there's some success there, but a lot of us are just kind of stuck. And it's really such a pain. They kind of cornered the market. I don't have Adobe, but for that money, they need to give more. Yeah, they need to do the work for you for that money. Seriously. They better not increase the price. I'm pissed enough that despite my losing my old card, they're still taking from my account. Wow, that's insane. AR will probably overtake Adobe for effectiveness. See ya, Adobe. See ya. Yeah. I'm curious, Emo. Yeah, I'd be curious to see. Tell me when you watch it. Let us know when you watch it. I'd be curious to see how you react. I don't even know if you like K-pop or that genre, but yeah, I'd be curious to see how you react to it. It's a feature computer animated film produced by Netflix. Definitely influenced by anime, but it has an American. It's directed by Sony Animation Studios, and the directors they're American. But it has a clear Asian/anime influence in a lot of the timing and a lot of the things they do, like with expressions, like they pop into these really like exaggerated expressions like they do in anime, and like their faces, deform and change really rapidly. The action is very anime influenced, but yeah, it's fun. It's kind of a fun feel. K-pop says she still needs to watch it. Yeah, I'm curious. I don't know. I mean, it seems to be doing well on Netflix from what I've heard or seen in the ratings, but I'm curious about how like the audience actually, for something that's exclusively released on streaming, you never know, right? And I think a lot of computer animated films these days, they're at a lull a little bit. Like Pixar's struggling, DreamWorks is kind of struggling. There hasn't been, other than like sequels, there hasn't been a huge new hit out there. And then I feel like the features that come out on streaming, like Netflix, they're kind of their own category a little bit. It's not equivalent to a launch out in like movie theaters and stuff. It's such a totally different experience to like watch, feature films these days just because of streaming. That's part of the reason why the industry is in a huge upheaval. Mobig's thinking. Lindsay, it's like the newer Disney animated stuff, 3D animation. Yeah. Some of the concept artists on that job are incredible, and you can see their influence in the show. So sometimes that works. I don't know. I've seen a lot of films that have incredible concept art, and then the actual execution is just like falls kind of flat. This one, I was pleasantly surprised. So at least the first third of it, I was pleasantly surprised. I'm at a point of point. I would develop my own program for free if I knew how. Some people are trying. Oh, thanks, K-pop with 3D. The story would really have to grab me. Yeah, it's fun. It's yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Check your account, emo. Adobe was billing me for 2 services on 2 separate emails. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, Mo Biggs. That's why. That's why Mo Biggs was dotting just earlier. Because we're talking about anime. I forgot. It's 3D CGI with anime look story. Why not go the other way with hand-drawn 2D but Western? Yeah. That's my love, man. 2D animation. So, yeah. And I know that so many people in the industry want that. It's just that people don't believe it can sell. People don't believe it's relevant anymore right now. At least executives don't. So, it's just going to take one person to do it incredibly well again. And then hopefully the industry will swing back. But we'll see. I'm not holding my breath. Basically the worst of both worlds. I never liked K-pop music, but the songs I've heard from the teasers are pretty good. They're kind of catchy. All right, let's see. Student discount is still $20 a month. That's pretty good. Or $20 off in discount. Yeah. That's better than nothing. $20 per mo, so they're even undercutting my value. Mo Biggs. Is it always about you, Mo Biggs? Okay. All right, cool. I think I caught up, guys. Okay, so this is gonna be crazy. So bear with me. Hopefully, there's enough here that you guys will interest you. So let me. I think what's best is let's look at the book first, and then there's a YouTube video that I found today, which is interviewing some of the people, like the editors and one of the writers on it, that kind of explain it a little bit more. And then I'll show you where I am. Okay. So here's the book. It's called The Future is ***************, and that's kind of part of it. Basic concept on this book. I picked it up like a couple weeks ago, and what happened was, why I picked it up was I'd heard people talking about it, but I really didn't know what it was about. I saw it had a Jay Lee cover. This is Jay Lee, amazing. And I was like, cool. But he didn't draw the insides, and it was, I really didn't understand what it was about at all. I just flipped through it quickly and I was like, oh, okay, it looks cool, but it didn't like totally grab me, and I wasn't, kind of like past my mind. And then I was buying my books last week, and the owner of Mission Comics, where I was purchasing the books at the particular week, his name was Leaf. This book was right up near the cash register. And he said, hey, have you heard of this book? And I said, oh, yeah, I've seen it on the rack, but I didn't really know what it's about. I know there's something special about it. And he's like, yeah, it's actually about like hacking culture and cybersecurity culture. And the book is being produced by a cybersecurity company called, what were they called? Black Mountain. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds not that interesting. But they created their own comic company called Rekka Comics, Rekcah Comics, which is hacker backwards. And he said what they're trying to do is incorporate cybersecurity, hacking culture, and they wanted to like train people about it or kind of make the public more aware of it. And they decided, for whatever reason, to produce a comic book. And the crazy thing is I think they've committed, so they committed to a 60-issue ongoing saga, which is unbelievable, like 60 issues. And for not being a standard comic book company, it sounds a little nuts. So they must have gotten some sort of like investment or something. They have like this huge vision of what this is going to be. So I was talking to him more about it, and he said, yeah, so I guess it's not only like a cyberpunk futuristic story about hacking, but there's also incorporated in it like little hacking puzzles. So I don't know anything about cyber hacking culture, but I guess there's like capture the flag kind of things and different codes that you have to figure out and find solutions for, and it ties into the story, and they're like challenges. And speaking of a leaderboard, how ironic, there's like leaderboards and scoreboards, and you can kind of see how you're doing up against everybody else that jumps into it. So that like blew my mind, because I'm like, that is so so different, and I've never really heard of a book trying to do that, or at least not that I can remember, trying to incorporate these kind of puzzles. And so I was like, okay, that's worth a look. Other things that were kind of neat were, I guess, the cost of this book here. Let me zoom in a little bit more. The cost of this book, you guys can see, is $13.37, which is a very odd price. It's a lot of money, but it's pretty thick. This book, I think, is like 100 pages, which is unusual for a first issue. $13.37. So apparently that is like a code for LEET, L-E-E-T, which is kind of like hacking speak too. And then they had another book. This was weird. They had another version of this book that they released, that exact same book, but it cost $404, which is another hacking term. Like whenever you go to a web page, it's not there. It says like 404 error or whatever. So all these kind of code terms. And I even asked Leaf, I was like, why would you buy the 1337 book over the 404 book if it's like $9 cheaper? And he said, oh, actually the 404 book was supposed to be second printing or not direct market, but something got screwed up. I don't know if they got hacked, but they released it before this book. It became this like debacle. You can look it up. It was this weird thing that happened. But I just decided I had a little credit on my account at Mission Comics, and I want to support my local comic book store. So I used some of the credit and decided to buy the more expensive one, and just because also Leaf was the one who told me about this book. And I thought, hey, that's cool. I love it when people give me recommendations and it's interesting enough for me to buy. I want to support the store. So I decided to pay a little bit more for it, but I had credit anyway. So anyway, long story short, I got the 1337 version versus the 404 version. So, all right, so let's dive into this comic, just looking at it straight as a comic, and then we'll start getting into, I'll start taking you guys with me into the rabbit hole a little bit. All right, let me catch up here before. So what was the hack? The XP leaderboard and Apple Adobe crappiness overtook the conversation. Kind of. No, this is the hack. This has to be a US writer. Yes, definitely. Like, so these guys here, some of these guys here have experience in the comic book industry. So you'll see, we'll watch some of the YouTube video that I found, because a lot of these guys are on the channel being interviewed. But for whatever reason, they were either friends of a friend's, or one guy like was part of the comic book industry and then got into cybersecurity over the last 10 years. And then when his boss, who owns the company, was thinking of this idea, he was like, why don't we do a comic book? Because they're trying to pull in a different audience than normal hacker people. But from what he described in the video, he went to a HackerCon, and a lot of the people that he saw at the HackerCon reminded him of people that he sees at Comic Cons. And so that's where he got this idea of like, there probably is overlap in that audience. I don't know. I think the success is TBD, to be honest. Like, I don't know how much effort, because it takes a lot, especially if you're not into hacking or code or anything like that. It takes a lot for you to like put in the extra effort to. But I think that's the point. It's like you can just enjoy the story for what it is, hopefully. But if you want to go deeper, you can go into this like hacking world or whatever. I don't know. we'll see. But he didn't draw the insides. That sounded foreboding. If they're charging $800 a year regularly, then they can absolutely shove the excuse they give me about the cancellation. Absolutely. I'm sorry about that, Emo Trash. Jeffrey Beat says, I'm back. The future is how do you pronounce that? The future is it looks great. This looks like a total ripoff of that book about the Apple ecosystem, The Future. Emo Trash is angry now. Like Rocky said, to get you hooked and then stuck. Yep. Your independent streak is just too strong for Adobe, Emo. That's right. You know what, Emo? I think you should subscribe to Blackwing service. You know what I'm talking about? This is what you need to subscribe to. No more Photoshop. Subscribe to this. Just buy these on a monthly basis. And then you're set. Then you don't need Adobe Photoshop. Let's see. If I ever get around to teaching myself that one. Oh, yes, I've heard about it. I think that's like an open source drawing program, isn't it? Somebody else mentioned that in chat a few streams ago. Having a leaderboard in chat for this discussion would have been so relevant and on point. Yep, Shelby just screwed it up. But yeah, that's I think it's kind of funny that whole leaderboard thing happened, and then now we're talking about this. All your codes belong to us? Mm-hmm. Sorry, Emo Trash. 1337, yes. It's a little pricey. However, when you think about it, again, crowdfunded books, and I don't think each one of I don't think all the issues are going to be 1337. I think future issues will probably be a normal comic book price. This one is just because it's the first issue and it's thicker. It's way thicker. But you think about it like with crowdfunded books, most of them, average price on those are $15 to $25, right? Plus shipping. So it's not out of the realm of purchase. So let's flip through this and we'll look at it, like I said, just as from a comic point of view, what's cool, what's not cool. And then we'll start diving into the rabbit hole a little bit. I just remembered, John, you said earlier, terms of service. See, look at this. The hacker wars are over. The black hats won. You no longer have rights, only terms of service. You guys are like hacked into my brain for today, which is awesome. So here's the kind of interesting thing. Let me zoom in here. Already as you begin, here it is. They talk about this whole capture the flag concept, which is so cool. It's kind of cool. Like I'm kind of like a techie, geeky, out of the box thinking kind of person in general. So whenever I see concepts that are not the norm, that are off the beaten path a little bit, it captures, no pun intended, captures my attention. So the capture the flag, for those of you who don't know, CTFs, exercise in cybersecurity, is a hands-on competitive game where participants solve challenges to capture digital flags, often a specific code or phrase that proves the task is complete. It's like a treasure hunt designed to teach and test cybersecurity skills in a fun, practical way. Challenges simulate real-world cybersecurity problems such as decoding encrypted messages, finding vulnerabilities in websites, analyzing malicious files, or breaking into systems, all in a safe and ethical environment. So they say. Flags are hidden within these tasks and solving them earns points. Point values are based on the difficulty level of each challenge. We've hidden several CTF challenges throughout this and every RECA publication to suit all skill levels. Beginners, look for the CTF alert logo, which looks like this. Advanced hackers, we've made it a bit harder for you. Have you found the cover challenge? Learn more and register for the leaderboard at tficomic.io. And we'll look at that in a second. So this cover challenge, there is a challenge here on this cover, which Leaf at Mission Comics kind of gave me a hint. It has to do with this title. You have to figure out what these 6 characters are. But for the life of me this morning, I'm like, I don't know what is going on. Like, where's the code? What? It was really confusing. So, but that's kind of cool to me. It's like, have you guys heard of like geolocation challenges? Like where you, I don't know if it's like an app or a website or whatever, but they have these like challenges, and then you go into a particular part of the city and you have to locate this code that's found here, blah, blah, blah. It's like again, kind of like this escape room solving a code mystery thing. So they're doing that, but they're doing it through hacking, through websites, through this comic. So kind of cool. But we'll talk about the cover challenge in a second because I'm still stumped on it a little bit. But all right, so let's look at the comic. Let's see. 404 not found. Yes, that's what 404 is. Poor Rocky's so brainwashed by Apple. He thinks they're good. They are good. They were good. But the off ramp of Apple, I'm way past the off ramp. I can't get off anymore. Grok is a foundation of misinformation, Mobig says. Leaf told you to get something? The trees are talking to you. I think it's spelled Leif, actually, John. But yeah, it was awesome. Is ChatGPT more accurate, Mobigs? Yeah, who knows? I did use ChatGPT a little bit. It will come down to story. Yes, I agree with you. Michael Bancroft, hi. How's it going, Michael Bancroft?
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Another chat member from Down Under. Michael Bancroft, are you using leaderboards when you stream? I was just told to turn that off. Shelby said, turn that stuff off. And then he disappeared. Left his mark and took off. Blackwing. Yes, Blackwing is the pencil. Emo trash. I think it's like the Dollar Shave Club with art brush. Michael Bancroft says he's already number 2. I don't know. How's this working? He is number 2. Something fishy is going on here. Something absolutely fishy is going on here. Seems rigged. Monetary contributions likely channel cloud too. Maybe it's I don't know. That's strange. That is strange. Unfortunately, I don't currently have a reason for brushes either because my painting class was canceled. No, just a pencil, Emo Trash. Just get a pencil. Pencil and paper. That's the cheapest option for art creation that you're going to find. Was working fine until Shelby instructed Rocky how to turn it off. Shelby immediately shot to Cranberry Langer, save us, Cranberry.
This is a cranberry, full of power.
Good to see you. I still don't have it on my channel, thankfully. Apparently, you can go back and watch the beginning of this. There is Shelby sent me a screenshot of how to turn it off, but I guess it was automatically turned on for me. Who knows? It's weird. Sometimes things are automatically on. Sometimes when you want them automatically on, they're automatically off. It's really messed up. Mr. Monkey Boy, 1969?
How do you say monkey in French?
Dirty book. Why is it dirty book? Geocaching. Yes. Yes, I think that's the right term, Lindsay Rose. Cranberry Lander says, I think I know what it is. Likely the future is after. I don't think so. I mean, I could try it. So apparently I have... We'll get into it. You guys are getting ahead of me. But I have 50 tries to figure this out. Is Rocky describing that Pokemon Go degeneracy? That was awesome. Pokemon Go is awesome, Mobigs. Don't you dare talk down about Pokemon Go. That was so cool when it first came out. I remember walking around town with my son and seeing other people doing the same stuff. It was so cool. It was really fun. It was like the best use of augmented reality that I had encountered at the time. Geocaching when you use GPSs to bury things for others to find. Yes, yes, absolutely. Well, upon finally looking, as K-pop suggested, they shouldn't be able to charge because they still have my old card. Yes. Bancroft's staying out of the leaderboard game until he figures out how to rig it. What a fancy name for a pencil. It's a brand of a pencil, and Black Wings were used a lot of, I know a lot of animators, old school animators used Black Wings, and they were really popular with, traditional artists. And then Blackwing kind of revamped, and it used to be like hard to find Blackwings, but now they've like updated and modernized, and they're really easy to find now. Now they have the whole, it's kind of like Moleskine sketchbooks. It was like they were kind of like nostalgic before, but then it just became super popular. Then they cashed in on it. Now you find Moleskines everywhere. Lindsay Rose says, my chat's frozen. Oh, no. I think the invisible 13-year-old that streams with Rocky may have switched the leaderboard. You might have to close out of YouTube, then come back. Oh, hopefully it didn't happen to everybody. How many stop signs did you run into Pokemon? 1. It's good to have Cranberry back in the chat. I was a poor substitute. No, you weren't. It's behaving for the moment, but I would still do that. All right. Okay, let's flip through it. So the artist here is Ennio Ruffi. You know what's part of the problem with hacking culture or this like cyber world is their fancy fonts, where they think they're being fancy and cool, but then you can't read it. And actually, how funny is this? That same font here, it looks like Ennio Boofy, like a B. Notice that the gap at the top, the slit at the top. But then here it's upside down, and it looks like Ennio Ruffi. No, I think it's a B. Yeah, because there's an R. This is the thing with these weird techno fonts. You kind of have to decode them a little bit because they're so abstract. It is B. I think they just flipped the B here. Weird. Yeah, I don't know how many of you guys in chat like puzzles or stuff like that, but I kind of do. I really do. So Ennio Boofy is the artist, and the writer is Fred Van Lente. And he's apparently written for comics before too, and he's in the interview. I'll show you guys in this YouTube thing. But let me just flip through some of this book. You can kind of get a vibe for it. It's cool, It's like it's not bad art by any stretch of the imagination. It's cool. It's fun. It's got kind of cool concepts. You get it automatically while you're reading kind of the style, the genre, the vibe they're going for. They have all these like heads-up displays, these like techie kind of stuff, cyber concepts, cybernetic parts. Here's a capture the flag moment right here already, I noticed when I was flipping through the book. So this gives you a little website here, and we'll look at that again in a second. But they got these like dolphins with lasers. Do you guys remember that idea that the military was training dolphins with lasers? And so they incorporated that here into the book. So it's fun. It's got a very okay, so now I'm nervous. Like, this is a gun, and they're using guns in here, so hopefully I don't get struck. Here's a killer whale here with a military vest. And the overall concept, I'll let you guys hear it in the YouTube video that we'll watch in a second. But pretty much it's like there's a team, a hacking team. They're like the A team of hackers, and they have these different adventures they go trying to figure out codes. And each one of the characters has a personality and a specialty. So the setup is easy to pick up. But yeah, very kind of futuristic concepts here. And then I'm sure this is part of like the code and the mystery, but they incorporate these kind of things like screenshots of stuff, redacted documents. But I do like the art style. It's cool. They don't seem like they're sparing any expense. And it's not like, it doesn't feel like an indie book necessarily. It feels like, okay, these guys know what they're doing. They know how to produce a comic book. They know how to execute, put together the right team. Some of the other names that they have, at least for covers that they pulled in here, Jay Lee was one of them, Mike Huddleston, Jim Mahfood, Rob Giori, Brandon Graham, all these guys I've heard of before, Nick Patera, Mike Allred. And I think a lot of that has to do with this editor, Joseph Keating. I think he's been an editor at all the like big companies, and so he's got a huge Rolodex of being able to like reach out and attract these different talents. So yeah, like this kind of stuff I feel like has something to do. See, there's like a little capture the flag logo here. So this is like a challenge. So it's kind of cool because you can go as deep as you want to, or you can just read it for comic's sake. There's like a worm, like a cyber worm here. There's another capture the flag with a URL here. So yeah, it's fun because you just, as you flip through the book, at least for me, I'm like looking for that icon, looking for the challenge. Oh, I think this might be a clue. So yeah, you get it. This is the main guy. His name's Wheeler. He's got that cool visor. And the other characters, they kind of intro them at the beginning. This is Wheeler. Sally, some hardware. She's like part robot. This like underwater gal, Martina De Leon. This systems guy. And then they have a dog named Arf. Okay, so you guys kind of get the idea of the comic. The concept. And then they talk about the origin of the book with all the people that put together. So this is a whole other thing, this bear versus bear thing. Like, this has been in the works for a long time. I think the first time they ventured into comics was this bear versus bear like strip, but then they fleshed it out into this bigger book, The Future Is. And then this is a game they created called Backdoors and Breaches, and if you if you scan in the QR code, it's like a cybersecurity game that you can play, like a role-playing game. So they're trying all this crazy stuff. There's a soundtrack. They just got tons of money. I mean, if you can imagine, cybersecurity is probably a more lucrative business than comics. But it just so happens that the owner of this company and the people he have in place have ties to the comic book industry. So they're just trying to fold it in. Some gear. All these ads for their services. But 60 issues. I mean, that is a lot of comics. Right? That's like 5 years worth of comics if they come out with one a month, which is insane. Okay. So here, that was the first issue right there. Pretty crazy, right? Pretty interesting. Let's see. I'm going to catch up in chat and then we'll flip and start watching this video. Hopefully it's interesting enough for you guys. Ticonderoga #2 is the best pencil. I've heard otherwise. I always thought, I mean, I know that's the standard one that we've always used to take our Scantron tests when we were younger, but I've never liked it as a drawing tool, to be honest. Blackwing pencils are expensive. I'll stick to regular #2s. Everything is too expensive. Emo trash. Cranberry says he has to leave soon. Oh, darn. You can tell Rocky enjoys puzzles because he spent 2 minutes treating the title page credits like a puzzle book. Yeah. There's something about that, like, you guys remember Highlights magazine where they have 2 images and it's like, find the differences between the 2 images. That's something that I love. That kind of like visual comparison is something my brain really like jives on. And so finding, like visually finding differences is something I love doing. Puzzles, you say? Please tell me there are no poker scenes in the series. I don't think so. Cranberry says soon he'll say bye. All right, we'll just say bye here. We'll say adios at this point, Cranberry. But thank you for coming in. No books over $30? Absolutely. Okay. Emo, I'm not going to give you any more recommendations, okay? It's just all too expensive. You got some bougie paper and pencil tape. I like my sketchbooks from Five Below. Rocky has money to blow on school supplies since they refunded his zoo pass over stocking allergies. Just get to the bande dessinée. Oh, man. Mo, please tell me you write stories for a living. Wheeler, yes. 10 for 10 name for a dog. There you go. Arf. Almost as good as Ruff or Alf. They're claiming they invented backdoors and breaches. That's a Stabber McGee classic. Oh. What's up, Sean? Shanth says he's cleaning his studio. I saw you cleaning your studio in your last stream. Shanth streamed yesterday, was it, Shanth? And it was great to see you again, streaming again. I know you've taken a little bit of break, a little bit of a summer break, but one of the things he was talking about was how he's cleaning his studio up. That's just scary. I mean, that's like, that's a tall task, and we'll see how long that lasts. But it's good. It's summer cleaning. It's good. It's good. Clear it out. I'm all for it, man. I'm all supportive of it. Yes, Highlights classic. I loved Highlights magazine. You're the one who claims to be cheap. I am cheap. Okay, so this is the book, all right? Let's watch a little bit of this YouTube video. Let me just make sure I'm on the right page. Okay, so this is a video where they're interviewing. So this guy here on the left, Adam Freeman, Jason Blanchard, Joseph Keating, these guys all work for Rekka Comics. And they just kind of talk about the process a little bit. It gets a little bit like cybersecurity-ish in there, and I'll jump around, but it's really good to just kind of hear from them like the origins and where it came from. So I'll play a little bit of this. And let me know if the sound quality is okay or if it's too loud or whatever.
At this point, good opportunity to bring in our good friend, once again award-winning Mr. Fred Van Lente. Lots of awards on this panel. Hey, buddy.
Hey, guys.
So let's see, as I remember, I came to you and said, "Hey, we have this client that wants to do something, and it feels kind of." I think originally we were talking about doing something almost nonfiction wise, and I knew what a history you have in nonfiction, right? Yeah, please.
I think we sent the comic book history of basketball, which is a fun book I did for Random House with Joe Cooper, Jason's Way. And yeah, I think you guys were initially talking about doing a nonfiction thing, which I've done Action Philosophers and Action Presidents and comics and all sorts of other stuff, including the comic book history of role-playing games, Game Masters.
That's right.
At the printers now.
I backed it on Kickstarter. I'm waiting for mine.
Yeah.
Oh, they did start. I think the first iteration of this book was a Kickstarter book, which I had never heard of.
Excellent. And so we started building this. We started creating this kind of world of the future is. Why don't you give us a pitch? I've been pitching it over and over again, and then every time you pitch it, I think, oh yeah, that's really much smarter than mine. So why don't you tell us about what the future is.
Yeah, I mean, the elevator pitch really is it's a cyberpunk Mission Impossible. It's a bunch of hackers in a not so far future where there have been hacker wars and the Black Hats won, and you don't have rights anymore in this future. You have only terms of service, and you're kind of at the whim of a bunch of fairly large, rich corporations and their IT people. But there's a mysterious guy named Wheeler who has put together a team, a sort of Justice League of hackers, of people who've been wronged or nearly crushed by this regime to basically fight back on behalf of regular folks. And the first thing I thought of when Jason recommended a bunch of great books, like I think it was you guys who had the idea of leaning heavily into something called augmented reality. Mm-hmm. For those of you who have not familiar with that term, if you ever played Pokemon Go on your phone,
there we go, Pokemon Go.
Reality, where it's basically a virtual world is superimposed over the real one, and in the future, we've gotten rid of the phone part. Instead of looking at screens, your eyeballs are the screen, and so everybody has a neural. Most people, I should say, have a neural link that lets them project the internet right onto your face, onto your eyes. For many of us, that sounds very exciting. For many of us, I'm sure that sounds absolutely scary.
Be nice.
Because part of what I was sort of inspired by was stuff like Black Mirror, which is obviously more in the horror space. But I like working in the heroic milieu, and I like the idea of white hat hackers sort of swooping in. Like, these are essentially vigilante white hat hackers protecting people from abuses of technology. So it's like you get into a bad Black Mirror situation, and then Wheeler and company sweep in to try to save you.
Yeah, I grew up on A-Team.
Sure.
So I every time I was like, it's just a future version of the A-Team. For me, where like there's people who are like, what's the A-Team? Well, it's fine. Right?
It's a show where every show they just expended incredible amounts of assault rifle bullets, automatic weapons fire, only shot out tires.
Yeah.
They invented tire-seeking bullets.
And a car flipped every episode.
Yes, because their tires got shot out.
Yeah.
And that van was constantly finding things to jump.
Yes.
Why do they need to jump in the van?
Yeah.
Always needed to jump because the Dukes of Hazzard, I guess. I don't know. The Dukes of Hazzard vacation.
Oh, did you guys see that video of
13-year-old's brain?
The General Lee? Somebody drove a car that looks like the General Lee.
What a 13-year-old
just like they did in Dukes of Hazzard. They replicated that recently.
Makes sense. And the future is very much not like that.
We haven't jumped a van yet.
Well, we don't. Well, for one thing, I cannot claim we have a Mr. T, but there is only one Mr. T.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Well, we might need it. We might need a Mr. T at some point. Yeah. Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about what that process felt like. Actually, no. Now that we've talked about what the story is, we brought in Fred, and then we had something that we all now refer to as basement time. Joe, this was before you, but Jason,
you've seen Pulp Fiction.
Wait, let me jump forward here.
Futurism, before it was called the Futurists, was about a team of like hackers in modern times doing hacking jobs. And
Yeah,
you
it
know,
was cool.
we come from like the world that we get to play in every single day at the company I work for. We get to do this stuff, but we can't say who we do this stuff for. And we can't really tell the stories of how we do the stuff. So we were looking for ways to tell the stories, but it wasn't us. It's these narrative characters, and the companies are, you know, fictional. And at some point, John, the owner of our company, was like, I'm not feeling it. What if it's in the future? Like, and we have a reason to care about the future. And we have a reason to care about like augmented reality. We have a reason to care about like the consequences of today and what happens because we make privacy decisions today, technology decisions today. And there's this thing in cybersecurity is that most people build a product, they release it, and then they think about how to secure it. And that's going to keep happening. It's going to happen to the Neuralink. It's going to happen to everything that we do, is that people are like, this is really cool. Let's make it. Let's give it to people. Oh, crap. Let's secure it. And so that's...
Yeah, are any of you guys tracking that like Neuralink, the Elon Musk's Neuralink stuff? Like, I feel like it's flying under the radar a little bit, but I keep hearing like, oh, soon people that have never seen are going to be able to see and like function normally. And I'm like, wait, what? And then something else happens to distract us from the reality of that. But the idea of like cybersecurity or cybersecurity not being in place for things like Neuralink or, you know, that have to do with your brains is crazy. It's a crazy thing. It's like all the sci-fi post-apocalyptic movies that we saw in the late 80s all are coming true though.
Be our future. And so we started thinking about what would that look like. And so Basement Time was an opportunity for John and I to come to Brooklyn, to meet with Fred, to meet with Adam, to meet with Nate, and sit there and just talk about all the things that scare the crap out of us that we know about currently and how we think that's going to affect the world over the next 30, 40 years. And like, hey, what if we could start addressing it now through story, and then those stories could start improving things now, or at least people start thinking about the security.
K-pop Junkie says they push this book a lot on the EXP. What's the EXP, K-pop? What is that? I'm curious. Yeah, because I hadn't heard much other than seeing it on the rack and just seeing a couple of like trade articles about this. I just blew over my attention. I didn't really know what it was about. So yeah, let me know what the EXP is. Michael Bancroft says, I don't remember it, but my mother insists I was obsessed with Dukes of Hazzard as a young child. I like to think that I absorbed the show's values into my psyche. That's good. That's a good thing, I think. Which is so funny. Did that get big airtime in Australia? Dukes of Hazzard is very much Americana, I feel like. So curious how that played in other countries. K-pop says, a channel run by Dynamite Comics. Oh, okay. I do some co-hosting when a few of the shows are out of town. Oh, cool. I'll link it. Nice. Yeah, drop the link. That's great. There's also the new surveillance stuff loaded in the new bill that was passed that is not being talked about, as well as a ban on AI. Yes. I've heard, what's the name of that senator? Marjorie Taylor Greene. I know she was wrestling with the whole AI stuff and was really against what they were trying to do and incorporate that into the big, beautiful bill. So I think that it was taken out. I'm not sure yet what the actual status is of that bill. I know it's been in the news and there's been a lot of arm wrestling about it. So, but yeah, that's big. You know, it's like they try and, I mean, we don't really know what we don't know. And just kind of these blanket ideas are just thrown in there in sometimes in these like huge bills, and people are like, wait, slow down. Like, this is kind of crazy. And depending on who you hear and who talks about it, it could be really frightening or it could also be really exciting. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I feel like there's so much. AI is evolving so fast in so many different industries. And for the longest time, I mean, the idea of artificial intelligence has been out there for at least 5 to 10 years. But I just felt like it never made a breakthrough. It was always just kind of like, oh yeah, AI, sure, yeah, that's for the future. That's in the year 2090, But just recently, within the last year or two, it just busted out, and now it's everywhere, and you can't. Now it's almost like people are just throwing out that term AI in every single company, every single announcement has to do with AI. And so now it's just like, whoa, like slow down. Where are we going? Variety stream, indie comics, comic sales, dynamite books, rotating content. Thankfully, it has to go back to the House before it fully passes, but any objections from Congress seem to be focused on needing more cuts and not the truly scary stuff. Hopefully, right? Hopefully. There's the link. Thank you, K-pop. We will check that. Everybody check out the EXP. Nice. Because predicting the tech future has gone so well in the past. Still waiting on my flying car. No kidding. No kidding. Bogan? Nice. Lindsay Rose trying to use it. That's right. Bancroft knows what the Bogans are. Daytime TV was pretty much just old show reruns back in the day. I loved Maverick too. Nice. I don't even think I watched Maverick. Was that a Western, Maverick? That was back when they were just trying to make cool, if impractical stuff. Big Beautiful Bill passed through one of the houses a day or two ago. Haven't heard anything since. Yeah, I think it passed on a tie, and then Vice President Vance came in and broke the tie. Then it's going back to the House, and now there's a question of whether or not it's going to pass. That was the Senate, I think. And now there's a question of whether it's going to pass the House. Everyone just asked Grok to tell them what's in the bill, and the Grok read the first version. Is too lazy. Okay, so funny thing is, speaking of this, the future is, I did use some Chat GPT to help me out, like with this one code, and it gave me this answer, and I was like trying it out, and I'm like, that's not right. That doesn't work. And I basically told Chat GPT, I said, I don't think this is the right answer, and it wrote back to me. It's like, you're right. Here, try this one. And it was the right answer. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why aren't you giving me the right answer to begin with? What is this like coy kind of, nah, you're right. Like, it was weird. It was really weird. And ChatGPT has done that to me for a number of things where it's like, if you just press it a little bit more, like push on it and say, can you look a little deeper? Then it'll be like, oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Wait a minute, aren't you a robot? Very weird. Mo Big says it passed the House, the Senate passed the... okay. Gotcha. Thank you. What Mo Big said, yes. Maverick was a Western, nice. Isn't Maverick a detective? Yeah, Western, but he's a poker player. Another thing that imprinted on me. Oh yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Bancroft has been or still is a professional poker player, if you guys didn't know that. Poker Face, the real life Poker Face. They did make a movie in the 90s with Mel Gibson. That's right. That sounds very familiar. Got to know when to hold them. Mom is walking out the door with a birdie on the string. All these things are consensus gauges. All right. Okay. So let's see. Let's listen to a little bit more of this, and then we'll get into the weird challenges.
Implications of what they're doing. At least think about, maybe what if we don't have the password hardwired into the firmware of this thing that's super important that could bring down the infrastructure of the world. Like, what if we don't do that?
Well, I hope in some ways this project can begin to inform that. It's definitely a lofty goal, and I'm looking forward to finding some of that.
And we should just clarify this. This wasn't like we didn't just like break into someone's random basement.
Okay. Different than that.
Yeah, Fred, you did a great job of showing up with I think I got it.
Right.
And so you were able to present that, and then from there we're like, oh, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? Because we live in, I came from comic books, I came from filmmaking, I got into cybersecurity 10 years ago, and since then I am immersed in cybersecurity, but you're not. And so we have to help you navigate this world. So that way cybersecurity people can read it and go, yes, this is authentic. And then also people who are comic fans can read it and go, I may not understand all these things, but I'm enjoying the story. I'm having a great time reading and enjoying all this part.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want, like you were saying earlier, when you ran into the problem of the logjam pack or whatever, the thing that sort of bear versus bear was wrapped around. I think that's the smart idea of putting it far in the future, right? Is that we're doing stuff that's analogous to stuff that's happening today without being the exact same thing, and running into anachronisms and things that are obsolete and stuff like that.
Oh, Nick's here. What's up, Nick?
Yeah, Mr. Barucci. Thank you, sir. Yes, and he's absolutely right. Please hit like and subscribe. That is the thing that you can help.
Okay, let me just see this one more section.
And it is, I mean, it is it Second Amendment, but also like the First Amendment of free speech. I mean, we're just talking about code, right? We're not. That's fascinating. All right, so let's actually talk about the artists involved in this project, and then I'd love to get to the characters that we've kind of created that are going to live in this world. Joe, talk about some of the artists that we are working with, how we found them, and especially let's spend a lot of time, if you can, on those covers, because you've done some incredible work there.
Yeah, so interior art, we've got 2 guys for the most part. Ennio, 3 including the colorist, and 4 including the letterer. Ennio Buffi and Mario D'Alessandro are the 2 artists.
Buffi, okay, it is a B.
2 Italian artists, both amazing guys. You know, we're planning on going 60 issues, so in 2030 they'll be drawing X-Force and whatever. But for now they're artists and they're awesome. Yeah. The colorist is Andrea Molani, and she's amazing. And then Taylor Esposito is the Eisner Award winning.
I think the guy talking right now, Joseph,
and then
he's the one who's worked.
So for
a lot
cover
in
artists, who
comics.
should we get? I was like, why don't we get all the best artists in the comic book industry to do covers? We got 60 covers to do. Let's make them every single one as a banger. That's my mission as the editor on this book. So, kicking things off, we showed the J. Lee cover #1. We've got Mike Huddleston #2, Rob Guillory again on #3. And actually maybe some more Rob Guillory art on the inside too. Jim Mahfood, Brandon Graham, Nick Patera, Michael Allred. I've got a list going well beyond the first year. I could keep going. We haven't announced any of these guys. But they're all bangers. They're all awesome. So
Paul Pope. But yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
it is an incredible group.
If they got Paul
talk
Pope,
about
that's
what
crazy.
it's been like talking to people inside the comics world about this project. Because at some point I want to talk about the when we brought this whole project to retailers as well.
Sean, how are
but
you
you have been really steeped in discussing this project with people inside the comics community. And I want to hear what some of those responses are.
That's so strange.
yeah,
I don't know how
they're
this
pumped.
leaderboard works.
Like, we're doing a bunch of weird stuff, not even just on the story end, but like the marketing end and the way we're putting this comics out. And the overall response I get is once they hear the names that we're working with, like, I want to be part of that. And that is by design. Like I want us to create the best artistic party in comics going on today, so that when artists here who we're working with, they're like, yeah, I want in on that. So when I'm heading to artist alleys this year and bringing people on board, we're inviting you to that party. And they're just excited, like they're excited we're calling our shot. We're with 60 issues. They're excited that we're doing 1337 on the first #1 issue. And I will say, like, look. Let's be real. When I first say, hey, I'm working with a cybersecurity company in a comic, there is a little trepidation of like, oh, what does that mean? It's like a custom comic kind of thing or whatever. But then they see the book, they see the art, they see what Fred's doing with the story, they see the immense level of care. They see that we're a new publisher and we have one book that we're doing like really well, and we're gonna just absolutely kill on making that the best possible comic it can be. People are pumped. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm bringing in Paul Pope, and that's why I'm bringing in everyone I've been bringing in. Like, I can't get into what, but Michael and Laura Allred are very busy right now. But they did a cover for us, I think in part because they're excited to see what we're doing. So
yeah,
people
100%.
are in.
And you're bringing a whole new audience into comic stores, right? Like, these are people that, 1, have money, and 2, they're nerds, and 3, this is the kind of stuff they like. So bringing those people
That guy
into,
looks really
oh, no,
blue.
you're going to make me spend money at my store? That's terrible. Oh.
He looks like Mr. Freeze.
Well, that's a good spot to talk about the presentation that we did for Comics Pro. Jason, specifically, what do you think that bringing the world of cybersecurity into comics is going to do to the world of comics? Like that's a whole different shift, right?
Yeah. From the beginning of pitching this internally to like, hey, can we, to the John, the owner of our company, I was like, hey, let's make comics. And he said, yes, if we make great comics.
So true, Moby.
That also happen to be about cybersecurity. He's like, I don't want to make a cybersecurity comic that's great. Like, I want to make a great comic that people want to read, that people want to enjoy. And then it's got cybersecurity infused into it. And the other part was he wants the reader to be the hero. Which is why we have cybersecurity challenges throughout the comics themselves. And so there are challenges hidden on the cover. The title itself is password protected. So the future is 6 characters, password protected. Every issue is going to be different. So for 60 different issues, you'll get to break the password for the title of the book. But we wanted to bring cybersecurity to comics because when I got into cybersecurity and I went to my very first HackerCon, I looked around and I was like, I know these people. Like I know these people because I came from comic books and I was like, it's the same people. They may not read comics, but they would if they were introduced to comics. And I even thought like a long time ago that if a publisher came to a HackerCon and they were the only publisher at a HackerCon, they would be like the most popular booth at the HackerCon because they're like, hey, I got these books. And you're like, I love these books, right? So we wanted to bring cybersecurity to comics because I love comics. There's this huge, massive audience of cybersecurity professionals that I think if they got a chance to read comics or picked up comics again for the first time in a long time, they would go, wow, this is awesome and I love it. And so the other part is that I owned a store at some point and I knew nothing about cybersecurity. I'm pretty sure our point of sale system was compromised through use. And so when I was at Comics Pro, I stopped in the middle of my presentation on Rec Comics and I was like, hey, here's 10 ways to protect yourself as a comic book store. Number 1, 15 character passwords, right? Like,
okay, and he goes into security stuff. So, I mean, you guys get the concept, you get the idea. To TBD whether or not this will be successful. I do think that there's overlap there. I think I'm curious to see how long people will stick with it and if they'll move the needle or make enough sales for this company to keep going to produce 60 issues. That is a serious commitment. Like you don't even hear that kind of commitment from the big two sometimes on certain books. So I'm fascinated that they're bold enough to put that out there and are trying to pull in some of the top talent to do it. So yeah, that's a little bit about this book. Okay, so going back to, let's see, where are we? Going back to the book itself. This well, I'll share with you guys first the very first Mr. Monkey Boy 1969 says sounds like nerds with too much money. Maybe that could be it. And I've seen this go wrong before where people will make their money on something and then try and fulfill a lifelong dream of like producing a comic or a toy or something animated and it just flopped. But we'll see what happens. So at least we can just talk about it, right? Mo Big says 60 issues are a risk that by the time they're trying to wrap up the concept will be pretty dated. Maybe. Yeah, that's a good point. More money than sense, as the saying goes. Okay, so when I started reading this, I consider myself for sure a beginner. I'm not an advanced hacker by any stretch. So I was looking for that CTF logo, and the first place I found it was here. This TFI comic. The website is TFI comic. Let me move this down here like this. TFIcomic.io/gun. Hopefully this doesn't get us in trouble or struck. That would suck. All right, so what I did was I entered that into I typed that into my website, and then let me switch views. And then this site came up, and you guys can follow along on your own if you want with that same website. But this came up, and it said, you found a challenge. And I was like, oh, cool. And so OGN, I think it's the original graphic novel, is what they're calling this issue that I have. They've done different versions that have different covers, and I don't know if that's, let me see. I think the ones with different covers are labeled differently in their challenges. So that's a whole nother layer of which book do I have and which challenge coordinates with that. Emo Trash says, I'm a beginner hacker. Okay, a compilation of all of Rocky's boomer moments. Yeah, bookmark that. I can't believe Rocky is zooming in on a guy. I think he hates monetization. Oh, sorry. This nerd needs more money and space. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Jim Shooter dies and these nerds make this. Oh, yeah. Rest in peace, Jim Shooter. He was a legend, controversial legend in the comic book world. And if you just look up like Jim Shooter and the books that were under his watch as an editor, you'll be blown away. He's incredible. Rocky's going to start wildly typing away. Guys, I've broken through now to search the web. Everyone learned to code because of MySpace. Oh my gosh. That's right. That's right. As if it would surprise you guys that I'm not an advanced hacker based on how I've handled this YouTube channel. All right. So this was the first challenge that came out, and all this like terminology is really foreign to me. Like these weird .io, blah, blah, blah. Apparently this is all pretty common in hacker speak. But they said, okay, you found a challenge. Here's a small bonus. This like purple key, and you submit it as a bonus here. So when you click on this, it takes you to this site, which is kind of their like challenge board or whatever. And you can see all the different challenges here. So OGN, I'm just filtering it out based on the challenges. Martina, Eli, Sally, and other, I think these are all the different covers of the books. So I'm still figuring this out. Maybe you guys will have a better beat on it here. So this, so the one that I solved, did they? Oh, yeah. This is the one. So this was, the problem was after gaining admin access to the smart rifle system, what is the flag? Oh, no, that's not it. There was another one. That's a bonus. This is in the bonuses. Yeah, so I submitted the bonus flag here. You submit it, and then it starts building out a scoreboard of like how much you've solved, and it gives you a score. So right now I'm at, here I am. Look at that. You guys remember that guy? Yeah, and I put Mission Comics just because that's where I bought the comics. So I got 70 points right now. So that first challenge, that bonus, I got a little points for just putting in that bonus code in there. And then here is the actual challenge. So Wheeler has gained access to the pirate's smart rifles via an interactive console. Help him take control of them. So you connect to the console, and what I did was I copied this code here. And then you paste it into a terminal. So for you guys, I don't know if you guys have used terminal before, but it's kind of the like back end where you can create processes or turn off certain like preferences or whatever. It's like kind of coding part of it. So terminal, it's like, you know, it's a oh wait, I'm not even published yet. Here we go. Terminal is this, it's like an app that is part of your, at least on Mac. I don't know how it is on PCs, but it's, you know, I entered in that code there. If you can see the NC challenges, whatever code up here. Wait, where's my terminal? I lost it. Too many windows. Oh yeah, right here, where it says NC challenges. I entered it in here, and then it says here, welcome to the Ushkutnik Smart Rifle System, which is part of the story that was in the story. I'm gonna move it here so you can see a little better. And then it gives you this little like ASCII code menu. Welcome to the Smart Rifle System. What would you like to do? And so if you type in 1, you can activate the friend or foe system. 2, enter the admin password. 3, exit. So if you type in 1, it says administrator privileges required. So then you have to enter in the admin password. So when you type in 2 and you want to enter in the password, it says, please enter the admin password. So then you're like, well, where do I get the password? So this is where all the like code solving, problem solving comes in. So if you notice here, let me hide this terminal. It says paste that command into your terminal or command prompt, and then a copy of the Smart Rifles program can be found here. So you're like, okay. So you click on that, and then it gives you this code. Now, maybe some of you guys might start glazing over from this, but this kind of geeks me out a little bit. I'm like, oh. So I started reading, and I know nothing about, I don't know, what is it, Python, or I don't even know. Yeah, I think it's Python. But this is all the code. Like when I was a kid in middle school, we learned like basic, C plus basic or whatever. And then we learned Pascal. This sounds so dated. And then we even learned on this program called Logo. Do you guys ever remember that program called Logo? It was like a very, very basic programming language that you had a turtle, and you can make the turtle like move up on the screen, and you programmed him to like do little things and like write, like he could write, and you can like write things. And of course, as an artist, I was like, oh, you can make the turtle like spell out your name or whatever, but we had to do it all in code. It was fun, but never went beyond like C basic or turtle or a logo. So, but it looking at this stuff reminds me of that and HTML. If you know HTML, it's kind of similar, you know, similar worlds a little bit, where you're just staring at columns and columns of text and code. So I have no idea what any of this means, but you can kind of pick out a little bit. So the kind of cool thing is like here you can see where it typed out what I just saw in terminal. Welcome to the Ushkutnik Smart Rifle System. And there's a lot of like, if it's false, then do this. If it's true, then do this. So here's the actual menu that we just saw. Activate friend or foe system, enter admin password, exit, blah, blah, blah. So you can tell just based on reading this kind of how coding works. So when they type in print and they do this format, and then it writes it out like how you would want it to write out, right? And then here it says user input. This is where the user inputs something. So if they input 1 right here, then print out friend or foe system activated. And if it's true, then congratulations, here's the flag. So if you get the password correct, they'll say congratulations. So just looking at this code, this is what geeks me out a little bit. Just looking at this code, you can kind of figure out the process. And I think this is the whole point. This is the whole point of hacking, of being able to look at code and figure out how to break into it. So great. Now you have this and you're like, well, what do I do with this? And then this is where it gets interesting. So right up here, it says admin_. underscore PW encrypted equals, and then it gives you this long gibberish, bibbity boobity boobity boop of characters, which I believe are like hexadecimal characters. So I figured like that must be what the encrypted password is. Like that must be it. So how do you take that? How do you convert that into something usable? So I actually like copy and pasted that, and I entered that into as my admin password, and it didn't work. So I was like, all right, so that's not it. So it must be encoded somewhere. And then I looked at, I'm probably losing, I'm losing all you guys. I could switch to comics. I could do it. All right, wait. This is always the password, K-pop. You are silly. In about 2 minutes, Rocky will have forgotten the chat even exists, just chuckling at himself as he types away, LOL, these noobs make it too easy. Oh my gosh. Terminal is like this stream about 10 minutes ago. Oh man. You guys. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Password protected looks like a dead end. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, Jim Shooter's awesome. He's really tall too. So a lot of people talk about how tall Jim Shooter was. The standard ID 10. See, John likes this stuff, right, John? This is right up John's alley, isn't it? Wait. All right, let's see. I remember those. Michael Bancroft. Michael Bancroft knows. Michael Bancroft likes to decode stuff, I bet. Enough of your Commodore PET recollections. This is how we figure out to play. It's true. It is so true. We would make like text games and stuff like that. Or a friend of mine used to have an old PC, like a 286 PC, and we would hack into it and make it say, like when it booted up, instead of saying copyright, whatever, IBM, blah, 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 we'd make it say copyright Rocky. And my friend's name was Al. Rocky and Al. Like we thought we were the best. Guys, I just freed up 3 bytes of RAM. I'm ready to push through. Yikes. Don't you remember floppy disks with like punching the hole to make it double-sided? Come on, join me. Rocky is yapping a lot of techie stuff. I am. Oh, people are getting bored. All right. So, up my alley at speed, live not so much. All right, I'll jump ahead then. I'll speed up. So I copied this code right here. This is where ChatGPT helped. I copied this whole code and I put it into ChatGPT and gave them this hexadecimal. And there's a whole thing called, where did they say it? Did they talk about it here? No, there's another website called CyberChef, which has all these like code decoder things that is kind of cool. But anyway, I put it in, and ChatGPT said like, oh, yes, translating this and trying out all this coding and blah, 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 blah. Your password is super secret password, admin password. And I was like, really? So I entered it in and it wasn't correct. And what happened was, hold on, I got another. This is when it gets serious. I got another computer here. It wasn't super secret. It wasn't super secure administrator password. That's what it first said. And I wrote back to ChatGPT and I said, that doesn't seem to work. That's literally what I typed into ChatGPT. And they said, he came back with, you're right. The correct decrypted administrator password is, and he gave it to me. And I posted it in and it worked. And it was kind of cool. So I solved that one. Well, ChatGPT solved that one. But the kind of cool thing with ChatGPT is it broke down like how it did it using these different decoders. And so yeah. So where I'm stuck now is trying to figure out what this cover this cover password is. The future is asterisk, 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 asterisk. So I've tried already. Whoops. I tried already different things, like the future is, the name of their company, Reka, is 6 characters. I tried that. I tried, what else did I try? The future is bright, because I've heard them describe this book as that before, and bright is 6 letters here. Didn't work. And then I noticed, this is the last thing I'll torture you guys in. Then I noticed this. There was something here in the corner. These characters here. Because they kept saying, like, have you looked at the cover or in the cover to find the next capture the flag? So I have no idea what this is. This is where it gets into that weird techno type font. I think that's a CRLE3 RL.RE slash. What do you guys think that letter is? That second one, that's a U. That doesn't look like an L because that's an L, right? That third character here is an L, but this one has a dot. So I think that's tripping me up a little bit. And then a 00JV, I think, or maybe that's a D. I don't know. I went through a few iterations of trying to type in this website to see. It doesn't work. Couldn't crack it. There's all this like decoding thing that ChatGPT was trying to do. And at one point it was like, boom, here's your answer. And I tried it and it didn't work. Like ChatGPT was way too confident that it got it. So yeah, I'm just trying. That's where I'm stuck right now. I'm trying to figure out what this next thing is. Mo Biggs has an idea. I'm not throwing that up on screen, Mo Biggs, but maybe I should type that out and try it. Rocky is creating his own programming language, universal application YAP form. Nice. Totally. Did you ask ChatGPT twice to ensure it was correct? That's kind of what I'm realizing, that he gives me like the fake answer first. I don't know if it's his attempt to seem human, but he like fakes me out at first. And then he's like, yeah, you're right. Good thing you asked again. I'm like, what if I didn't ask again? I would not have the answer. Yeah, I tried Bright. I tried it. Your guess was Bright. Mine was the same as Mo's. All right, I'll type that in. Let me see. I'm not going to put that on screen, but I will type that in because the number of characters fits. Let me go here. The number of characters fits. So we'll try it. But I have 47 guesses left. 50 total. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Sorry, 45. Nope. I was wrong. That one didn't work. What else you guys got? Is that an E, Mopig says? Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I don't think so. Because this is an E right here. Right? That's an E and then that's a 3 next to it. But this one looks like an L with the dot in the middle that makes the E. But this is an L. So then what letter in the alphabet has that? Or it can be interpreted. This is where the weird technotype, and maybe that's part of the code, is confusing. Albert? What? The future is Albert? Where did you get Albert from? Yeah, leet speak. Exactly. Yes. So what do you think, John? Do you have any ideas? Don't forget to try uppercase and lowercase. The rest of the title is all caps. Yeah. You guys. Oh, doomed. Doomed? So yeah, I feel like if I could figure out what this code is, I could type it in and it could give me what the answer is. But I can't figure out what this code is. I've tried different iterations. I even thought maybe this is like, this has to be decoded in itself. So the only dot and 2-digit thing that I've seen in internet addresses, at least for like hacking, right, is .io. So I was like, oh, if that character is an I and that character is an O, then I tried to insert it here, but then I couldn't figure out what else. Like I literally was typing out like, okay, if that is CRLE, this is what I spent this morning doing. If that's CRLE3RL.RE and .RE is .io, so then that character is also an IOI. What does this spell? Something 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 .io? I don't know. Maybe it's an H. Like a lowercase h? Take a pic of it. I did, John. I did. Oh, ask it not to lie to me. Wow, I didn't even know it was allowed to lie. I took a picture of it. I'll tell you what it said. It said, where is that? And maybe if I had like the paid ChatGPT, it would be more likely to tell me the truth. But it basically like said, oh, great job with your picture. Great job interpreting that picture to what you thought it was. That's what I would have guessed, is kind of what it said. Where did it put that? Yeah, it has all these like crazy like anagram kind of things it's trying to figure out. Cipher tests. I don't even know what these are. And it was asking like, are there words that could be clues? And I was like, Wheeler? I don't know. Circle something. I didn't know it was allowed to lie. It's supposed to tell us the truth, right? Threaten ChatGPT with Grok would have told me the truth from the start. Oh my gosh. Be sure to. Q. Is it? I don't know. Or maybe I'm reading, I thought this was a J. Maybe that's a D. That could mess me up though, if just one letter is off. Let me see. If I type in CRL, you guys need to help me. Help me. RL.RE/U. Is that a... Yeah. I'll just try L again. And is that zeros or O's? O-O-D-V. Nothing. Can't find server. U1. O-O. Yeah, can't find server. Even when I type it in without the unique code, after the slash, it doesn't come up with anything. CRLE3RL. That feels like there's something in there. CRLE3RL.RE. Something in there. But it says Safari can't find the server. Yeah, it's something like that. Like with those spellings, those weird code hacker spellings. That's what I feel like I'm missing. Wait, I thought this was entertainment, but we're the tech support. Yeah, John, help. This is your time to shine, John. I was hoping I could tap into the collective psyche here. The Borg mind, people. Help me crack this. I can't find anything. C exactly matches the ciphertext. It's a visionary cipher with key. What does that mean? Ciphertext. Replace 3 with E. .re to .io. I'm not getting it. 3 /GKHATMU. Nope, that did not work. Yeah, it's psyching me out. Like ChatGPT is so confident, and then see, so this is my fear now. It's true. It's really sad. Rocky, you're the that means nothing. That means nothing. Sounds like lead, right? I'm telling you. Control. C. Control. Your brother-in-law would probably know. Where's the shark and when exactly did we jump in? Yeah, that's my fear. Like, how many comic book nerds, like how many of us are in the chat right now? 10 people, 10, 11 people. We're all comic book fans, right? How long would you stick with this before you're like, I'm out? And maybe you guys are already out. So that is the thing. It's like, it's cool, it's fun, it's cool with these like challenges, but it's one of those things like with escape rooms, you have hints. And I'm sure if they actually do have like a help board or a Discord channel that you can kind of tap into. I haven't done that yet. Maybe I will after this stream. But if you can't get past the challenge, then you almost hit that point of frustration, like with video games or with any kind of puzzle, that point of frustration where you're like, okay, I give up. And how committed are non-hackers who are reading up a new comic book for the first time? How committed are they to like stick with it? And how crucial, I don't know how crucial it is to the plot necessarily. So maybe that's a good thing, but we can't figure it out. Bonus points. Come on, I'll turn on the leaderboard and give bonus XP to people who can figure out what this first one is. Somebody. I've been out for a while. Emo Trash says, I'm personally just comic adjacent, not a complete fan. Don't blame this travesty on comics. So what you're saying is you really like this idea. I will say that I read the first, there's a few different chapters in here, and I read the first two. Yeah, the first 2 chapters, and they were entertaining enough. They were, I didn't feel like I was totally lost. And you're starting to get like who the characters are. So yeah, I think they have to go into a deeper like conspiracy story to really build on that hacking. And maybe that's what they're doing, to build on that hacking culture. But I'm going to play around with it a little bit more. I'm going to try all these capture the flags. I think the scoreboard, leaderboard is kind of cool. I don't know if you guys play video games or if you're part of any other thing that has that kind of stuff. It's kind of cool to motivate you to see your name kind of rise up in the ranks, even though Shelby told me to turn it off and then just disappeared in YouTube. But that's kind of cool. And I think you can also like join teams. So for example, if there was a group of people that I knew that all went to the same comic book shop, we can say, hey, we're part of Mission Comics team, and we can kind of work together. So that's kind of cool. But I give them their kudos for trying something different and really trying to, appeal to a comic book audience and a hacking audience. We'll see how long it will be. I think issue 2 might already be out. So I'm going to finish through reading issue 1 and then see if the story and the characters are enough to make me want to pick up issue 2. Definitely wouldn't pick it up if it was $13.37, but I don't think it is. I think it'll be just normal price. But yeah, that's the future is ... If I can figure out this password, I think I will stick with it. That's my goal. If I can figure out this dang cover password. And I've done a lot of like Google searching and YouTube searching on, maybe the Discord channel is the next resource that I need to tap into. But I haven't found anybody like with answers like on Reddit or anything about what this is. So it seems pretty tight-lipped, and you got to figure it out on your own. But anyway, that's the future is ... whatever. Okay, let's see. Where are we? We endure a relentless barrage of Yapri only to be assigned homework? I feel a 2 a.m. stream happening. Maybe I'm desperate. I kind of am. I was hoping one of you guys would be like, oh yeah, it's the blah, blah, blah. This is, you're such a noob. This is leet speak for blah, 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 and would have given me the answer. But alas, you guys are less of nerds than I thought you were. I think what Mo's saying is moving on. The answer is always 42. Comrade Sammy, how you doing? Comrade Sammy moseying in here so comfortably late. Mo needs to give me back my number 1. Top fans right now says, hey, you are number 1. Lindsay Rose. 225 XP, whatever that means. I don't even know how you get XP. Mo Biggs, number 2. Emo Trash, number 3. Mr. Monkey Boy, number 4. And Shelby is number 5. Even though he hasn't said anything except that first thing. That is so strange. What's up? Be sure to drink your Ovaltine. Is that me? Can't stay, just pop in and say hello. Hello. Always good to see you, Comrade Sammy. Thank you for popping in. I appreciate it. I'll take a Comrade Sammy Avita Zane any day of the week. Currently, it's a couple of the kind of Instagram cliche romances that the Instagram has been pushing away. Oh, you're talking about the webtoons. Gotcha. Comrade Sammy's the real. Stop. Password better not end up being. I know one was My Secret Marriage, and the other title was something about a withered flower. Death Metal Hero, what's up, Death Metal Hero? Good friend of Jason Unhinged. Co-host the show with him. Thought the title. Yes, that's what we all thought. Yeah. Sorry, I had to count my letters. I tried that, and if you go back and watch the stream, you'll see that didn't work. So I think they're playing on that, but apparently every cover, every issue is going to be titled this, but it's going to be a different password every issue. So that is the rub, trying to figure out what it is. That's part of the joy. But good seeing you here. Thanks for coming by, Death Metal Hero. Check out this book if you are interested. It's a weird cyber hacking meets comic books with all these little capture the flag challenges in here, hacker challenges in here. We're stumped. I I only solved one thing and then a bonus thing just by logging on. And that's all I could figure out. And then I'm stumped on this cover. Tears on a Whale. Oh, okay. So it's an actual password. Yes. Yeah. And there's a whole, here, I'll show you. There's a whole scoreboard, different challenges. These are the different problems. So what is the cover password for the OGN comic, which is the one I have? What is the flag in the disk image? I haven't even gotten to that. What is the flag shown in the mass driver dashboard? What is the flag found within the email? What is the flag recovered from the pack? All these things that are incorporated in the story is kind of cool. See, I only solved one challenge, and that already took me a while. So they're just trying to, I don't know. This is very familiar to hacking culture, maybe. There it is, Cyber Chef. Check this out, guys. There's this whole thing where you can do all these different languages. You put the input here and then it'll output here. So different encoding, which is kind of cool. It's free. You know, whenever you need to decode stuff. My friend got that book as a cybersecurity professional, so he really did. Okay, cool. See, it's not all bad, guys. There's some people that are interested in. I think it's just, for me, it was interesting. I'm not into cybersecurity at all, but it was such an interesting concept, and it's worth, I wanted to explore it here with the chat on my channel. But apparently, a lot of the people don't like it. A lot of my usuals, regulars here don't like it because it's too complicated. Then when I ran out of free eps on those two, okay, talking about her, starting her own conversation. This looks like way too much work. I barely have time to read the book. Thank you, K-pop. Truer words have not been spoken. So let's see. Let's see how this does. I mean, if nobody's buying this book after issue 3 or 4, I don't know. You can ask Distillery, because those guys, I don't know how they're continuing on. There must be, from what I know, their sales aren't that great, and they're just cranking out their books a lot. So we'll see how long this guy's go. But if they committed to 60 issues, that's literally 5 years of comics, one coming out every month. They committed to that. They must have like a pile of cybersecurity cash that they got from hacking into a bank that they're committed to. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see where this goes. We'll keep an eye out on where this goes. As long as the story holds up without needing to solve the questions. Yes, I think so. I think that's how they plan it. But to be, yeah, and it just kind of enhances your experience if you want to go deeper into it. So yeah, I think that's how it is. I haven't made it all the way through this first book yet, but so far, none of what the challenges I solved have anything to do with the story. So yeah, we'll see. The password is coincidentally the phone number of the pig feeder lady. This is why Rocky is so desperate for the answer. If I had been any help, I would have liked it more, Rocky. If I had been any help, I would have liked it more. Fair enough. Fair enough. Rocky has reached a new level of ASMR. This is elite ASMR, John. All right, so yeah, that's. Can you imagine a whole My Wednesday Comics to talk about that? It was worth it. I think it made for good. I'll put good in quotes. It made for good conversation. It's, just talking about the same old standard comics every week is not interesting. You got to change it up a little bit, and I appreciate that these guys did that. There are some other books that I picked up. I'll push those over to next week, I think. Some, used books, which are awesome. Come on now. There's no elite speak in this. Come on now. So good. I love this cover so much. I think I have like 3 issues. I mean, three copies of this, but I picked it up again, and I'm gonna look one of these days, whatever the next My Wednesday Comics. We'll look through this because it's so good. And I got this book from the library today, which is kind of awesome. How to Draw Noir Comics. All these kind of things, probably more interesting to you guys than hacker comics. But hey, man, the future is whatever. Somebody give me the answer. If any of you figure out the answer or happen to run across some sort of post online that talks about what the answer is to this, please post it in the comments. I would be forever grateful. Otherwise, I'm not going to go to sleep for the next week until I figure out this answer. That's kind of how my brain works. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, I gotta figure it out. So maybe I am the right audience for this book. Who knows? And that's probably why I would never be a good cyber hacker, because I can't figure out this dumb challenge. 6 letters. The future is something. Bright. I tried bright. Didn't work. Indie noir comics sounds lit. Yeah. See, there we go. Got to change it up so you know what books are really annoying the comic community. That's right. Apparently I hit it on the head today, guys. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Legendary. Now I need to learn code. Roggy didn't get his answer, so he's rage quitting. That's right. See you at 4 a.m. John said, I thought there were other comics. There were, but, I've spent enough time talking about this. I do have to go. So we'll save them for later, John. Don't worry. We'll have another stream sometime soon. Suffering. Yes. The future is firewalled. Apparently, they can't until the last issue. You know what? Emo trash. Again, I'm not going to put that comment on, but I thought it would make sense. It feels like that would be it, but it's not. It's just my brain. All right, everybody. Thanks for putting up with me. Thanks for jumping into this conversation. Again, and I'm in all seriousness, if anybody figures out, or if you want to drop in any suggestions, drop them in the comments, because I have 44 more chances to figure this out. So that's quite a bit of guessing we can get into. I think it's in this little code in the corner, but I can't for the life of me figure it out. Oh, maybe I was reading it upside down. No, I don't think I so. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys go. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. I hopefully will talk to you guys soon. If not, I will catch you next Wednesday. But thanks so much. Thanks very much for joining me. My name is Rocky Ballesteros. Please hit that like on your way out. Please hit that like on your way out, even if you didn't like this stream. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And leave in the comments any kind of 6-letter words that you think might fit in this. Scour the internet, chat GPT it, help me find the answer. That's all I want. That's all I'm asking. It's very, very simple. All right. Thanks, everyone. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.